Good evening, everyone. I'm Cheryl Peralt, and I am delighted and honored to be here as MC this evening for our friend, poet Bill Thibodeau. I'd like to say a few words about Bill before we get started. I am, again, delighted to gather here with you, his friends, family, and fans on a gorgeous June evening here in Boston, the beautiful surroundings that we are in here. And we are honoring words of poetry and song this evening, and we are celebrating Bill Thibodeau and his gift of poetry and his second spectacular book of poetry, The Watchman. How about a hand to start off? Woo! Now, a little for you to know about Bill. We know that he is a poet. He is a good friend, a kind man. I've heard that he is a good Boston neighbor. You could find him on the steps, reading perhaps. He's a carpenter poet of Jamaica Plain, a TV personality with the Carpenter Poets on NPR and Hallmark station. He has traveled to different lands by plane, by motorcycle. He has studied archaeology and psychology. He's been a teacher and a great observer and thinker, and then writer and author, poet of his first book of poetry, The American Icon, his second book, now that we're celebrating this evening, The Watchman. And here, before Bill begins, we have his good friend Sam Cornish to share a few words up here. And I would just like to introduce Sam by saying he is the first poet laureate of Boston. So please give Sam a hand.
Thank you. And may I say this is a great audience. Now, I don't know any of you, so how can I say that? Well, it's easy. I've never seen any of you before. You're so casually dressed, you're so friendly, and you seem to be a family. Audiences are, as a rule, not. You seem to be here for Bill, and that's good. Now, one of the things I like about the Carpenter Poets is that I don't like to go to poetry readings, but I like to go to the Carpenter poetry readings, and this atmosphere is it's what I look for when I go to the Carpenters, and it makes me think that poetry does have a voice beyond those who write and those who read the little magazines. So maybe I should be applauding you for coming out for Bill. Now, there's really not too much I can say about Bill, except he has this tremendous energy that I sensed when I met him. You might say a light. But most of all, when I read his poems, I was really interested in the depth and the intelligence that comes through in very long, thoughtful lines. So I'm very pleased that Bill wanted me to be here. And I hope you can hear me say these things, because sometimes I lose words when I speak. Now, I'm just going to read a quote of mine from the book. And it says so much about what I think about the poems and why I think the book has so much to say to all of us. Oh, by the way, if you have a chance to go to City Hall, you'll see a poem by Bill on one of the walls near one of the elevators. I do not know what floor, but it's beautifully done, and I hope you'll get a chance to go and appreciate it. Okay, here I go with the quote. With a skillful use of common language and metaphor, Bill Thibodeau writes poems of the everyday, solitude and the workplace. In an honest and original voice, his poems require a slow, careful read and are well worth it. And may I just say that again in another way. When you read a book of poems, you shouldn't try, because of its length, the small book. Take your time and read word for word and let the words sing to you. That's very important. And I suggest, and I hope Bill will do this, most poets do not, read, and when you come to the end of the line, stop, count to 2, and move on. And I hope that when Bill reads, that you'll get the same sense of discovery that I did when I first read the manuscript. Thank you for being here, and thanks, Bill, for asking me to be here.
Well, hello there. It's a little low. Thank you all for coming on this beautiful Tuesday night. I thank the hockey gods for having hockey last night and as opposed to tonight, because we would all be somewhere else. Well, if not here, I see a lot of blue lights from the back, people watching the game. Thank you very much to Cheryl for introducing me, and to Sam Cornish, the first poet laureate of Boston. It's an honor for me to have all of you here, and especially them. We have food, we have a location, we have a great gathering. We have, I hope I'm not the downside of but we have music coming up. So I'm going to read a few poems, and then we're going to have Joe Bergen come up and do a couple of songs. Maybe I'm being the MC, but I'm not the MC, I'm sorry. But I'm just giving you a little, and then I'll read a couple more, and then Fran Regan's going to come up, and so then we have a multifaceted night coming up. Hope you enjoy it, and I'm glad you're all here. I'll start off reading from the book. I printed out a lot of these on the white page with the 14 font, and we all know why you do that, right? It's because you can see it, but we have plenty of light here, so maybe it's reflecting off my jacket. So the book's called, that's why I wore the jacket, by the way, see, it reflects the back. The first poem, the book is called The Watchman, and just by being a observer of life, just accidentally, I don't know how it happened, but I do take advantage of it. We watch, we observe. That's what I do. This poem is called Duet, and right around the corner is an Animal Rescue League. Some people are familiar with that. One time I was walking by, and an older man was walking an old dog, and the dog was very unstable. I knew he was walking him in, and the dog wasn't coming back. So I tried to imagine what they were going through, and in fact, I wrote a poem called Duet about them. An old man, an even older dog, struggled together along the sidewalk leading to the Animal Rescue League. The old man with low shuffling gait over the uneven bricks. The dog in staccato steps forces his legs to remember their four-legged rhythm. They arrive at a tree outside the entrance that was marked Animal Intake. It extends its gnarly trunk through a sterile patch of dirt, ringed with cobbled stones made of granite. The dog meekly pulls the old man in automatic tow to the tree. He rears his backside over the dirt, dutifully arranges himself in strained contortions so that his movement doesn't soil the sidewalk. Then the one looks up as the other down, and they meet in gray, glistening eyes, their mouths formed in tender smiles, singers of a plaintive song. A deep knowing that this living ritual, this engagement, is coming to a close. The dog completes his forced movement, struggles to regain composure, and the two timidly walk to the awaiting door as a chorus of humming flies assembles around the base of the tree. My passport expired. I wasn't paying attention to it buried on a shelf for a year or two, as if it were tired and craved convention and a change of self after all it had been through. So the passport took a beating and it needed a break. And then all of a sudden I realized it was a long break. So I'll get back on the train. I am willing, but I don't want to have my head stove in, but I do want to I have close to it before. All right, this next poem is called Chain. If you live in the city, so you look out the window, you see another house, it's right there, so that prompted this one. My windows face a blackened brick wall. City lights and sounds don't make it back here at all. A lonesome jail or a canyon of stone with a chain and ball and bars of bone. Through the silence comes a wounded dream, the ringing of a phantom call that touches me where I thought was dead. 4 walls of smoke, she chests my will. For the past is never past at all when someone already knows my name. I know that somehow I am to blame for this vision that dances in my candle flame. The world would not enter and I would not leave, but for her lifeline that's pinned to my sleeve. Like a child who is new to the widening world, the teacher is she and I but a fool. Yes, I now know the heat of the burning stove, the eagle that preys on the whitest dove, the tease of a sweet but brief gentle rain, the trials and joys of the heart and brain. Wrapped in the ephemeral silk of that sacred chain, who is she to offer this chance, this vision who flickers while I'm on my knees? I only know what I see in the dance. Then she says that she now hears the wind. The dawn must not find her body here. My eyes will be scorched, my tongue burst in flame, yet I am to wait for her call without fear. And so once again I am lost, a dead letter stalled in the mail, sent from a time before the Grail that holds me in a spectral thrall. And as the night wears on before I die, I sing the candle flame to sleep. I pray to my senses for myself to keep. Love within time is all I seek.